lead.
Hello, my beautiful people. What is going on? All right, we are back with another episode. Super exciting. I think this is one of the things that I've been leaning into a little bit more today's topic. But before I tell you exactly what we're going to talk about, let me introduce our guest tonight, Miss Olga Nelson, better known as Polkis. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Polkis, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Polkis, yes.
We'll ask you in a minute why Polkis, but let me introduce you right now. So Miss Polkis is from Texas, right? She comes from Cali. She's a mom of a beautiful little girl. She's so adorable. I love to watch her while you're working out. She is a mom from Guatemala, right? Correct?
Yes, born and raised in Guatemala.
Born and raised. Fun fact, my half sister is Guatemalan and Dominican. So I'm like, ooh, maybe we're like family somehow. So she comes from humble beginnings. She has accomplished being a businesswoman in life and created a platform where she helps Latin women to learn more about money and have a better relationship so that they can continue to succeed. She's dedicated her life to that and manifesting our heart's desires. And so we thought that she would be the best person to choose for today's topic, which is kind of money manifestation and how we grow into these people, these versions of ourselves, where not only are we working on our personal health, our spiritual health, but also on our money, our shmoney, making sure that, you know, it's in alignment. Because one thing I'm very clear on is you can make an impact, but you can make a bigger impact if your pockets are a little bit fuller.
Of course, 100% agree.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how you came into this journey of helping more women learn about money, and how, you know, you can continue to help more of the women, including us, to level up.
Yes, well, thank you, Diana, for having me in this amazing podcast. I love the title in the name of the podcast because that's what it's about. So I'm very honored to be part of this podcast and be sharing with you girls. So as Diana mentioned, I am originally from Guatemala, born and raised. I moved to the US when I was 15 years old. And I live in California for around 15 years. And then we recently moved to Texas, to Houston, Texas. And I started young working because I always wanted more. I always wanted, more money. I was in high school, but I wanted to buy, chips or little treats. So I went and got a job. And my first job was a dishwasher in a Persian restaurant. And I really had fun there because I was young and I'm like, I don't care. Of course, I want to get paid. And I think they were paying me $6 or $7 by then. And that was a lot of money for a 15-year-old 15 years ago. I'm 30 now. So I had fun. They will give me food and then I will go buy like whatever I wanted from the drugstore, my own shampoo, my mascara, my lipstick. I was bawling. I was happy. Um, but as the years passed by, I noticed that I didn't know anything else to do as a job. I started working as a waitress in the same restaurant. And by the time I graduated high school, I had to make a choice. Do I stay? This is the only skills I know to do, waitressing, working at restaurants. And I asked myself, do you really want to stay like that? Or how about, you're good with math? Why don't you just sign up for college? And I put myself in college. I got all the financial aid that they give because if you have good grades, of course, you can stay and they'll pay for your education. So that's what I took. I graduated as a mechanical engineer and petroleum engineer. It took me 7 years to do that journey. And I am really glad I took that because I'm the first one in my family of both sides that got an education. And that kind of changed the path of my future generations by making that choice back then. And that's just one of the choices I have made throughout this money journey or this abundance journey, and then teaching women also how to level up. So long story short, I wanted, I did all jobs while I was in college. I kept my waitress job because I love the tips. I did all these internships. Some didn't pay because when you're a student, they take advantage and they're
free labor.
free labor, free internship. And I was there, 7 a.m. I was filing documents. I'm like, tell me what to do. But basically, I was buying my experience in the real world and experience that I can put in my resume, and I can go get go get myself a big girl job. And when I graduated, that's what I did. That's what I thought I wanted. And I landed a really good job, and I moved to the city, to LA, and I was very excited, but with high rent, and I almost couldn't make it. And 3 years passed by, and I'm like, is this it? Like, I graduated. There has to be something more. Like, I'm barely making it paycheck to paycheck. I haven't changed my car. I was driving a 2001 Toyota Camry. Love that thing, but I'm like, okay, I cannot keep this car forever. One day it's going to break down. And I want to save. I started questioning a lot, like, why I'm not free. Like, I leave my house at 7, come back at 7. Like, where is my time? I only have 2 hours of freedom after work. And I'm like, okay, I want to meet somebody. Eventually, I will love to start a family. And at what time, with what means, right? Like, how do you do it in the big city, in the high paying job? It's almost impossible now, especially with inflation, everything is going up. And I started questioning, like, okay, there has to be something more. This cannot be it. Like, come on. Education, I got the job. What else? Staying in that job for me just didn't really, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I went and asked for a raise, and by then I was making 71,000. And I started at 62, and after 3 years, they pump you a little so you can stay. But I'm like, I can't make it. I can't save. I would love to buy something. And I remember I went to the boss and I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna either switch companies or quit because I really can make it, and I don't even have kids yet. And he asked me, what do you think you should be making? And I remember I couldn't talk because, when you're put on the spot, like, tell me how much do you want to get paid? Ooh, woman, panic. We don't ask. We don't know how to ask for a raise or the worth and the value that we're bringing to the companies, to services, selling our services, anything. And I remember I was shaking and I say 96,000. And he's like, well, it will take you about 8 years.
Oh.
And that was it. I made my choice. I'm like, no, I'm going to get out of here. Either I'll change companies, but nobody's going to tell me how much I can make. And by then, I met my husband. We met online. We met on an app, because how can else I can meet a guy if I'm all day at the office? So I decided to download an app, and I met him there. And he was investing in real estate. He was a real estate agent, and he was investing in some properties for himself too. He was like beginning all of that process. And him texting me and telling me, oh, I'm at the gym at 11 a.m. or, oh, I'm having lunch with my mom on a random Tuesday. It made me question, like, okay, there has to be something out there. What am I doing wrong? And I would love some of that freedom for myself. What can I do, right? I did not know anything about investing. I was smart. I was doing like designing buildings in the construction industry. I love construction, but I was learning and doing how to design a building, not how to own the building. So
And there's a difference.
there is a difference,
People like me contract people like you.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I will go and do the plans, talk to the architect, do the whole big girl boss job, but getting paid like a peasant, right? And when I learn about investing in buildings, I'm like, you mean I can hire an engineer and hire an architect and I can be the owner and I can be free? Like, teach me about it, right? I was triggered, and I use that trigger as curiosity. So when you girls feel triggered about money, somebody else making money, somebody having a lot of free and going to yoga at 9 a.m. and walking the dogs at 11 and having brunch with friends. If you feel like a little trigger inside you, use that as curiosity to wonder, what is that woman or person doing? And what is she doing differently so she can have that life? Let me learn about it instead of getting triggered and walking away. So that's what I did. And I started learning on my own. Like I download some audiobooks. I'm like, okay, investing 101, like Robert Kiyosaki, like tell me like the main things about investing, explaining me what's like a job, the difference between being an employee, a business owner, a job owner, and an investor, right? And I'm like, I don't know anything about these. So having that awareness of learning what's out there, how can I understand it instead of like being scared and walking away and being mad at the people because they have freedom and I don't.
Right.
So in 2020, after the whole pandemic happened and stuff, that's when I was really dedicating my free time to learning about finances, learning about money, learning about investing by myself, creating like a budget like by myself, learning how the money works, learning about the energies of money, and talking about money, right? Money is a very uncomfortable topic in between friends or couples, or especially with family. And I think that if we talk about money, we're bragging or we're trying to seem better than somebody else. But no, it's, you need to talk money with the right people, the right people that are not going to scare you. And that for me was my husband. And he was an investor, he knew about money, and then he will ask me these questions and I will get like my heart will ache, my stomach was like, punch me in the throat. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Don't ask me how much I make. Don't ask me if I have a savings account, my 401k. Like, oh, I acted cool. Like, I don't know. But I did not want to stay like that. And there is really good outsourcers out there that women can start really learning about money, investing, and about like just the energies of money. And that's how I woke up that side of me, because I knew I always wanted more. And since I was a little girl, I decided I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have money. I don't know how. But then once I was an adult, I'm like, okay, I need to learn how.
Yeah, for
Let me
sure.
understand it so I can own it. And I decided to quit my job and join my husband full-time investing. And that's when we started buying commercial properties. And me being triggered every time that we had to pay big amounts of money for remodeling or for landscaping or for like paying the handymans to fix something. And all of that triggers, I used it as awareness and as curiosity to learn more and understand that investing is not about just making money. It's also about to put the money first, right? Put the money, invest so you can benefit from it. And it's been a journey, and it's been like 5 years that I started investing and learning more. And I'm like, wait a minute, like all this abundance has unlocked in my life. And I'm really good about it. I feel confident now. And I was craving friends to talk about money and teach them something. And that's why I started my YouTube channel talking about personal development and inner work and how to level up and how to be more confident. And little by little, I'm like, I really want to talk about money. I really want to talk about abundance and how can you unlock it for your life. And you know what? I'm like, people are going to get mad. Maybe like they're going to think I'm like snobby or whatever. And I just started talking about it. And it will flow so easily that I made like more than 30 videos about like money. And in my YouTube channel, I have it. So all the videos that I do are in Spanish. And I have this series called La Serie de Dinero, like the money series.
Right.
It's like a Netflix marathon. And I have over 30 videos talking about money for women. I wanted like friends and girls were loving it. And I'm like, okay, this is bigger than this. And So I kept going, I kept going regardless, like if people were listening or not, or if some friends kind of give me the side eye, kind of like, who you think you are? Some stopped talking to me. I'm like, it's fine. It's meant to be that way.
Right.
So that's
Whoever the
how
message is for is for. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that's what has led me to where I am and even to this podcast. So that's how my journey has been, little by little, being triggered in the middle and being scared and being uncomfortable. But sometimes you have to have the uncomfortable conversations to live a comfortable life.
Ooh,
Yes, that is very true.
yes.
yes,
I
Very,
love
especially with
that.
a partner and all of that. So that's how the whole journey of abundance has led me here.
I love that. And I see that you've even created kind of like a course around it. So outside of your YouTube channel, you created a course, right?
Yes, correct. And I do it in Spanish with the purpose of helping Latinas and helping them like being that accountability or that container that can teach them where they can learn, where they can feel like, okay, I want more in life, but there is no representation of like a Latina, a young Latina from Guatemala that has made it up there. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take one for the team, put myself out there so they can see that it's possible.
Yeah.
And yes, the course is called Manifestación Magnética, which is magnetic manifestation.
Oh, I love
And it's
that.
a course where I teach how to truly manifest the life that you really desire. I go like science and like science behind the brain, the science behind your thoughts. And I put like workshops to where I help you create like an environment for abundance in your own house. And it's really nice. I launched it last year. And this year, I actually launched a master class that was like 2 hours and a half. And it's called the Money Master Class. And this class is it's in English. So it was live like 2 weeks ago, and it was really good. And we talked money for 2 hours and a half, and it was lit.
I love that. That's a good topic to talk about. That's always a good topic to talk about. Now, my question to you is in regards to the money manifestation. Okay, let's say hypothetically it's myself and I am starting from scratch. I have nowhere to start. I maybe have a very low budget to start. What would you say now in hindsight to where you're at today, looking back on the things that you could have done better? And you can tell someone else if you're starting with, I don't know, roughly less than $500 of a budget, what do I do to start manifesting and moving more money in my life?
Love this question. Thank you, Diana. I will say you have to truly start believing that you can be rich and that you can be a millionaire. You can have $10,000 to manifest right now, but if you don't know where to put it and you don't know how to invest and you don't believe you can do it and start embodying abundance and wealth right now, then it's going to be hard for you to do it. So first, I would say the best investment to start is yourself. So with that $500, you can really invest in really good books. Audiobooks are cheap. You can like listen to a book like in 3 days, 2 days to really start learning about wealth, abundance, and understanding it. Because when the money shows up, and if you don't have the knowledge and the financial literacy to know how to move the money, to be comfortable being around money and going and spend it and invest it and put it right here and understanding that investment and that stock and savings, then once big amounts of money come, you're going to self-sabotage because your identity is of and your mentality is of a person that doesn't have money, has a scarcity, like a broke mindset. So we have to start shifting that mindset first. And to start shifting that mindset, you can get financially literate through books, through podcasts, like the masterclass that I taught, podcasts like this one, having these conversations to see what's out there and why are you, first, why do you want money, right? Having a plan like, okay, I want money because I want a better life for my family. I want a new car and a new house. Okay. And after that, what? Well, I want to quit my job. Okay, you quit your job. Now what? Maybe I want to start going to yoga in the mornings. Okay, now what? And you have to go deeper and deeper to really understand your why underneath the why, like the root. And maybe that's like the purpose that you want a business, let's say a bakery, and you're so passionate about baking cakes, and giving back, right? Like giving back a nice cake to a wedding or something. Like all of us women have true gifts that because we don't have money, we don't really discover them because we're busy working, we're busy taking care of the kids. But once you have abundance, you can outsource many things from, like housekeepers or a nanny once a week, quit your job, be more relaxed, be more present. And all of this unlocks what's deep inside you, your true gift. So if you have $500 right now, I'll say invest in yourself, in your knowledge about wealth, in your knowledge about money. Go to a conference where there is always events happening for women, events where you can go and learn about businesses, a seminar, something where you learn, and then maybe start like something that you're truly passionate and start monetizing it, right? Like, oh, I love to cut hair or do makeup. Do something like that to start like generating more money. Get confident and learn how to go ask for a raise. You're probably getting underpaid right now in your corporate job, or in your business right now, maybe you're charging lower rates. So you have to double that price, but you cannot double that price if you don't feel worthy of that. So first is feeling worthy and start embodying wealth. Why do I mean by that? When you start embodying wealth, you don't have to wait until the money shows up. Because let's say that the million comes right now, $1 million shows to your bank account. That $1 million doesn't come with the new mentality, like a chip. Okay, now you're wealthy. Now you know how to invest. Now you know what are the best houses in the market. Now you know where to buy. Now you can be comfortable shopping in a nice store or being comfortable ordering the most expensive dishes. So the way that you can start embodying wealth right now is to start feeling wealthy in your own house, being thankful and showing gratitude for what you have, wearing the nicest clothes that you have in your closet, wearing the expensive perfume you already bought. And even if you work from home, dressing nice, right? Dressing like the goddess that you are, getting like your hair done, whatever makes you feel rich.
I love it.
And the expensive, I know all of us girls have expensive perfumes that we're saving for a wedding. And guess what? That thing is going to expire. Pour that thing on and feel wealthy. Like, oh, I smell like money here.
I love that. That is so
things
good.
that you can start embodying wealth and having conversations about money. And this is why I love teaching about that, because it took me practice to really embody wealth first. So when the money showed up, I was like, oh, I know how to act now. I actually understand, like, for example, like I understand some investments. I feel more confident showing up to meetings, showing up to new clients. Or when we were, for example, we have commercial properties and residential, we will go sign up a contract, right? So I will dress nice, and I read about or listen about a contract or ask my husband about this, and I Google it, learn. So I showed up more confident, right? Like owning my title, owning my wealth. Like, okay, where do I sign? This is this term, and this is what's included. It's triple net. Like start getting familiar with the wealth lingo.
The terminology, yes.
Yes, the terminology, exactly. Like, so you can start embodying that first. And then once the money shows up, you're going to be comfortable and feel wealthy already.
That's awesome.
So
That's
I love that you tackle it or attack it from a perspective of like inner self and like confidence first. Because it's crazy. I've been in the real estate world for a while now, and I've done a lot of mentorship relationships and stuff like that. And it's interesting and enlightening to hear a perspective like that, because I did the same, but I don't teach it. I embodied, and I think I told Diana the other day when we was on the beach and our meeting with Erica, and I was like, no, honey, you have to fake it till you make it. You have to embody that confidence. But I never taught it, and I never thought that you could teach that. So I think like I applaud you, and I find that like I'm in awe of it, because I'm like, you can't teach that. You either with it or you're not. And look at you, proving me wrong.
No,
No,
it's actually true, and I love that saying fake it until you make it, but I love other one way better, that is embody it until you become it.
right. Yes, love it.
I like that. Embody
I
it
love it.
until you become it. Okay.
And you know what's even more interesting about how you're talking about this and how you're expressing it is that when you read books, right? And I'm all for education. I think I have read a whole lot of books. I'm an engineer too. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I know.
High five.
So I get it. But the thing that I will say that is different between somebody like you and reading a book is that the book is very black and white. It's almost like reading a math book, right? The math book is going to tell you this is trigonometry and this is trigonometry because of X, Y, and Z. This is theoretical geometry and it's theoretical geometry because of A, B, and C. Nobody gives you the background of why theoretical geometry exists. Nobody gives you the background as to why algebra exists. So unless you don't spark that curiosity and say, well, why is this like this? Why are you telling me to go buy a stock? Why are you telling me to go invest in real estate? Why are you telling me that I need 10K and how do I produce the 10K, right? Nobody tells you that. They just be like, oh, you need 10,000 to invest in this building. And you're just like, ¿Y cómo hago los 10,000? Where's the 10,000? Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like even what is that book called? Investing for Dummies. I don't know if you read that one, but but even that one doesn't tell you, like, a lot of it is just set up a savings account. To be honest with you, in the immigrant community, a lot of the immigrant community don't know the difference between a checking and a savings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they've never been taught. Nobody, heck, I don't think, I didn't know the real difference between a savings and, like, literally. I knew that the word savings and I knew the word checking, but I did not understand why they were different money-wise, right? There's that money talk, right? What is the difference between an interest-bearing savings account versus just a regular checking account or a regular savings account? Like, what is the difference? What do they yield? Nobody told me that I had to pay taxes a year if it was an interest-bearing savings account, right? So it's those are the questions that people like you are answering for people like us, right? Because the book doesn't tell you all that stuff. No matter how much you go and read it, it's that missing link of like the how to. So I think that's phenomenal. I'm in awe. I love it.
Yes, I love all of that. And it's surprising, in our Latin community, that they teach us, like, even if people don't know the difference and they don't know anything about money, they just know that you have to work hard for money. And I thank my parents for doing that and sacrificing a lot. And I'm like, okay, you guys sacrifice already a lot. Let me change the path. Let me take advantage of the opportunity that you guys gave me and make something out of it. So it's first making the decision of, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be wealthy. Why? Because women need money. And let me tell you why women need money. We need money because we like options. We don't like to be restricted. That's why do you think we change nail color many times, or hairstyles many times, or lipsticks, or clothing? We want one of each color. We cannot be limited. And that's just a part of the divine feminine that we have, we're goddesses, and is never going to change. It's never going to stop. Al contrario, we're going to want more, right? More experiences, more love, more peace, more abundance. And when we think about savings, yeah, it's necessary, it's required, but saving sounds restricted, right? I love teaching money and abundance from like an overflow mentality. Like I can have it all, instead of like Ramsey, like this guy, right, teaches you like budget and cut your Starbucks and don't buy here. And I'm like, what if I just ask the universe for more money instead of feeling limited and being tight? I don't like being, I grew up tight we grew up in scarcity and I hated it. I did not like to share half of my pastelito, whatever I had to share, my empanada, or wear like my sister's clothes. They didn't fit anyways. But like that kind of scarcity, I'm like, when I grow up, I'm not gonna have to, only buy half of, only buy one, or share my drink, because not because the fact of sharing, but because we can afford one, like a second one, right? So how I see savings is like, call it overflow. I have overflow money, because somebody says, oh, that's emergency money. Then you're planning for an emergency. You're planning for something to come where the money is going to go away, right? Instead of seeing savings as, I just want overflow to have fun. And see, it's all about that mentality. And all these books teach you like the technical stuff. The government, this investment gives you 10% back, or bonds, or dividends, all this terminology. And it's good, we have to understand it, especially if we live in the US. We have to understand how this country system works, so we can like read the market, and just learn the system, so it can be useful for us, but also learn the energy side of the money, kind of like the metaphysical side of like, abundance cannot be limited. I can have whatever I want. And when you start believing in that, but truly believing it, that you can have it all, and you start transforming your beliefs around money, like, like those bad thoughts or feelings that come up when you think about money, that's when true transformation starts in your pockets. It's all about the thing, because making 1,000 extra a month, I'm sure there's many ways that you can make it happen. But if you believe you cannot, or you believe you don't have any plans or ideas, or you're not capable of generating that, or creating a service where you charge, then it's going to be a reality. You're not going to have it. So yeah, we can learn all the technical stuff. And I love to call it like, in money, in the whole life, there is two energies that rule this world. That's the feminine and the masculine. And I love to teach about the energy, the feminine and masculine energies of money. So the masculine energy is the doing, the investing. I'm going to save money. I'm going to hold money. I'm going to know where to invest it, all the technical sides of money. The feminine side of the money, it's calling it in. I don't know where it's coming from. I'm going to manifest it. I believe I can. I love spending it. I love just calling abundance. And I know I can manifest whatever I want. And I love, sharing and my friends, and do whatever you want. But we have to have both. There is many people that are really good at calling big amounts of money, but they don't have the financial literacy to make it work for them and to keep it. There is even big entrepreneurs that make like 60,000 a month, 100,000 a month, but they don't keep it. They're basically paycheck to paycheck as well. They don't know how to manage it, right? And then there is people that keep a lot of money and they don't enjoy life. They're tied,
Yes. Oh,
coupons, pennies,
I know
goals,
so
and
many. So many.
right? And then there's where the spice. I want to enjoy, I want to spend. So we have to have this synergy of energies in our life, but we're talking right about money right now. And once we master the art of calling in the money, then we can obviously read a book, learn about investing, go to a course, learn about stocks, learn about real estate, right? Like that's something you learn. But first you need to tap into that, like abundance inside of you.
Yeah, the mindset part of it. That's a really big deal, because I feel like one thing that I've learned over the years that I wasn't present to before, and not until in the last, maybe I want to say 3 years, is that when you are in that mindset and you're shifting the way you think, and now you know and feel honestly and truly that you can manifest more, you can be more, you can attract more, you even manifest other things, not only exclusive to money. The better relationships, the bigger smiles, the bigger joy, your laugh is bigger. All these things that maybe you didn't think hypothetically were possible in your life, now they're better. Maybe now your children, now their behavior has been switched around, because now your confidence and your yo no sé quoi, like it just ignited, right? It just goes on fire because, one thing that actually Erica, well, this is Jim Rohn that actually said it, but Erica says it all the time: how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So in doing the things that you do, and you're like, now you're in this abundance, in this light, you're attracting more, your confidence is higher. So it's just too obvious or too easy for that magnetic, right? The magnets to kind of pull at and come to you. So I love that. I love that. Something that it's not always the easiest thing. I will say, I will cop to that, because I am a very big, believer in, having, whatchamacallit, positive thinking, silver lining, learning more. I'm a perpetual student of the game, but I also sometimes, I'm human. So it's easy to kind of fall backwards and feel like, oh, I don't know if it's going to happen. Oh, I've been working so hard. But it's one of those things where you just have to keep going, right? It's the compound effects. Like you put that penny in the piggy jar one day, every day, and it just multiplies over time. But it has to be, the number one thing is investing in that mindset, right? Like I think a book that I'm going to be finishing this week is Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill. I think it's Napoleon Hill. I think it is. And that's a book that I'm like, oh, because it's very easy to fall backwards. When did you find yourself ever falling back? Once you made the decision, did you ever take like a kind of like a step back, or has it always been like, okay, uphill, uphill, uphill?
Honestly, it's never gonna, like, your old identity of a scarcity of how you were, raised, is always gonna try to pull you back, especially at higher levels. And that's when you truly have to commit to your inner work and to transform those limiting beliefs, because it's like getting fit. You can work out for 15 days, a year. That doesn't mean that you're fit for life, right? You have to continue nourishing your learning, working on your limiting beliefs, on your inner work every single day. Because if a new level unlocks, that new level is going to bring more triggers, more container issues of how much abundance and joy can you hold for how long,
Mm.
So it has always tested me as once I reach a new level, in a new opportunity, in a new amount of money, always shows up and always will at higher levels. And you just get better at, transforming those beliefs. Like it will take me months. Like I will be like, in my stomach, like, what am I doing? Was it the right decision? How can I recover from this? How can I like make that money back? That was a lot of money. Why did I quit my job? So I will spend months in there, right? Thinking that, but I kept going, kind of like just read the next book or learn the new thing, And now it takes me like about 2 days or 1 day to kind of like coach myself, be like, okay, why are you acting up? Why are you triggered? What's happening? Let's journal about it and let's see what can we do to move forward. Give myself grace and compassion, because I'm also human and the body doesn't like change. The creator side of your brain refuses to change because we want to survive and is trying to keep us safe. And once change comes, it's just like, no, trying to like get you back to where you are so you're safe. And I thank that part of the brain, like, thank you, you're keeping me safe, but I want to be rich. So we need to work this out together. And it will always try to catch you, always at new levels, new opportunities. And
what's easy to do is easy not to do, right? Like it's so easy to do it, but it's also easy not to do it.
Yeah,
because journaling is one of the things that I love to do, and learning how to like figure out my triggers and talk to myself through it. But it's also so easy not to do. Like I haven't journaled in like a month, and I can tell the difference on my mindset and my flow when I'm not. So it's very easy to kind of like regress. But it also is easy to change that once you're really, locked and loaded and ready to like you have clarity. You thrive on clarity. You move forward. You know how you're going, like you said earlier, knowing exactly what you're going to do with the money versus just, I want to make $1 million, but I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do with it.
Yeah. Or why do you want it? What are you going to do with it? You
Yeah.
know, there is 95% of the people that win the lottery and the
Broke.
worst that they when they got it. And the reason behind it is because they had a broke and poor mentality. Nothing changed inside of them, and they just got the big money. So it was a huge, their container of abundance broke. It's like a rubber band, right? Like it was stretched so hard that it ripped. So if we want more abundance, get higher pay, more investments, have more freedom, we have to learn what the size of our container is right now and how can we expand it and hold the pose so it can become the new size. You know, when you stretch plastic, like, and then stays like that and otra vez, and then you keep going, right? So
Right.
the container of abundance is how much can we hold? How much money are we comfortable with? So if you want to find out how, just look at your savings account. And let's say, for example, if you have $500 and you always have $500, no matter what, you're not going below that. That's your how much comfortable you are having. And there is people that have 10,000, 20,000, and they won't go lower than that, right? We're talking to a savings. Maybe there is other more in investing and stuff. And let's say that this $500 person got a bonus, something, you know, extra cash flow, and they put 1,000 there. Now they have 1,500. But because their container is 500, they're going to try to unconsciously manifest an emergency. My car broke down, my kid got sick, let me just spend it. Something is going to happen where the money has to leave so they can go back to 500. And that's the container, that's the size of your container. So to expand that, you have to go incrementally, little by little, you know, like if it's 500, put 100 more and hold it for a month and see that 600 there and feel comfortable, just feel it. And then the next month you can put 200 more, 100 more, until you're very like $1,000. That's the least I can have. Like I don't go lower than that, and put yourself boundaries around it. Like I'm not going to touch it no matter what. So that's how you start stretching the container. And it's energetically that you just keep stretching that and feeling comfortable around to be around that type of money or wealth. And that's how you can stretch your container.
I love that. Oh my God, this is like so magical. I'm loving it. I'm taking notes.
What are some practices that you would say that kind of center you whenever you are going through those changes of like, you know, when you express like, you know, you have to talk yourself down and things like that, other than journaling, like what is some of the type of technique that you use in order to pull yourself from that kind of dark area?
Yes. So of course, like you say, journaling, that's my favorite. I don't write anymore. I have like my on my notes on my computer, I type faster than I write on with a pen. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't want to type. I have a lot to say. Let me put the microphone and let it type by itself, because
wow.
That's me.
I try to, because once you dig deeper on the why are you feeling like that, let it all out. And then I will feel the emotion. We don't want to bypass the emotions, because we want to be like acknowledge the emotion. Why do I feel like this? And of course, a lot of the thoughts come back, like I grew up in a poor, you know, family, and we went through all of these hardships and all of that, you know, I think about it and I acknowledge it, and I'm like, interesting. I see you. Thank you. But this is where I want to be. So don't bypass the feelings like, oh, no, I'm not going to think about it and put some music and dance. No, process the emotions so they don't come back. You know, kind of like I feel seen. That's kind of part of your shadow side. When we try to hide the shadow, it will always follow us. But if we turn around, it's like, I see you, you're hunting me. What do you have to teach me? What do I have to learn from this expansion? Acknowledge it. And then start getting comfortable at the new level to normalize it, right? When we reach a new level in our jobs, in our careers, we go through this kind of like identity shift where we feel that we don't belong, we're not capable, we're not meant for that job, for that amount of money, for that partner. Normalize it so you don't sabotage it, right? And go back to your old habits and beliefs. It's kind of like identity shift. And it sounds a little like intense, but it's true, right? If we look back to when we were 13, 15, that's a whole different identity of what the woman that you guys are now. So we're constantly shifting identity. So the faster you normalize your new level, you're going to be, comfortable for the next one. And then the next one, of course, is going to bring some other beliefs, of why I can have it, why I'm not the one for the position or the job. And it's funny, like I just got a message like 10 minutes before going in this live, and it was like, I never check Facebook, and there was a message from some girl that told me, I love your life and I love everything that you share, but be more humble. All you're showing is your luxuries, and don't forget where you come from. And you're just showing luxuries that your normal people cannot get. And I'm like, that's the reason why I show them. So the normal people like me, like us, can get them. And my intention, is never sharing like the luxury. It's like, this is possible for all of us. You decide if you want it or if you want to stay in the circle where you're like, you cannot get that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's different, sharing and teaching women, empowering them that they can also get it. Absolutely. And it's so funny because I'm like, let me send you the link for my course where I teach you how to do it.
Absolutely.
That was an opportunity for her to learn, though.
Yeah, and see, that's the point of like when you get triggered by someone else's abundance or happiness or the perfect body they're getting, and you feel this trigger where you just want to be like, be humble and don't show up, because when you don't show up,
bothers me. Yeah.
I'm like, that's an opportunity to get curious. Why am I feeling like this, and why someone else's abundance is kind of bothering me, right? So if you have something to share, never dim your light. You have to do this woman a service by showing what's possible out there. Because when you dim your light, you're never going to speak up, and you're never going to feel worthy of anything, and you're going to feel that you have to hide all the time so you don't trigger people.
Yeah, no, and you don't, that's
you don't want to live like that.
Yeah, that is not the mission. That is not the purpose. Let me ask you, before we get into our last little bit of a section, what books, I know that you mentioned books are really great, but what in your mindset, to focus on mindset, to focus on that stinking thinking, to get that out of our systems, and to start looking and leaning into this manifestation so you can walk into money, would you recommend? So maybe like the top 3 books that you can think of off the top of your head. This is everyone has to read.
I have one right here that it's gonna really help you start with like transforming your beliefs around money, and it's called Happy Money by Ken Honda. I can type it up in the chat. And I have my thing right here. I have like so many books. Books are amazing. And I love these. He's a Korean author that teaches about money. And the way that he teaches and asks you if your money is happy or sad, it's amazing. Like he goes through like your whole beliefs, how were you raised? And it's a really good book to start transforming that identity inside of you. One for women that I absolutely love is Rich Woman by Kim Kiyosaki. She's Robert Kiyosaki's wife. And she basically gave the whole like Robert Kiyosaki book, but for a version for a woman. Amazing stories that she shares. And she goes a little bit more into the investing too, like how we are capable of investing of these. And one that I'm actually finishing right now that I got all fired up is called We Should All Be Millionaires. and the author is Rachel Rogers. And that book got me clapping all around the house, like, yes.
You know what's so funny?
Put that one,
love
put that
books.
one in the chat. Hold on, put that one in the chat because that one I have not read.
I was gonna say
Yes.
that. I was like, listen, I've read a lot of books, and you hadn't. All three of them I have not read.
I've
So
read the
I've
first
read a
two that
lot
she
of
mentioned.
books.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of books, a lot of mindset books. Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, a Lucky Bit. What is it? Get Lucky Rich Bitch. A lot of different great books about money mindset. The Amanda Francis books, but I've never heard of those three books. So I definitely am going to put in my Audibles and get to it and start reading them because, knowledge is power. And I tell this to my 7-year-old, knowledge is power only if you use it, not if you just know it and you do nothing with it.
Ken Honda's book is actually one of my favorites of all time. Literally, I think I've read his book 3 times now. Just because that's literally one of my favorite books ever.
It is
He's
amazing.
amazing.
It is
And
amazing.
a lot of people
Really good.
have based their curriculums for like green belt treat and leadership and stuff like that based on Ken Honda's theories and manifestations.
Yeah, see, it's like unlocking more opportunities for other people to teach and to learn. And what I love, I absolutely love Robert Kiyosaki. I read all of his books, and of course I can recommend them. But we're talking about like woman right here, and I'm like, okay, how can we start like unlocking those beliefs as a woman? These 3 books are gonna get the wheels spinning. Like you're gonna be like, what? Oh.
Okay. All right. I'm excited. And I think, Jamie, is there anything else? Because I don't want to let her go, but
No, I just want to thank her. I mean, you're phenomenal. Your mindset, like the execution of how you brought this about, your passion for wanting to teach other women. It took me a long time to realize that this is what I wanted to do, right? And it took me even longer to then muster the bravery to say, I got something to share too. I have, so I just want to applaud you for that because I think it's phenomenal. I think that your brain is beautiful. I think your intelligence is amazing. Your execution, what you're teaching, how you're inspiring women. I'm inspired tonight. Like I haven't purchased a book in 2 weeks, so I need to go purchase another book. Because I want to level myself up. And me and Diana, we have these conversations almost daily. We had this conversation yesterday about how to level ourselves up, how to keep ourselves focused, how to keep ourselves scheduled, how to enjoy ourselves, and enjoy what we're doing at the same time, right? Because it's a lot when you take these projects on. So I'm in awe. I love you.
Thank you.
I know we gotta hug you. We're huggers. We're
you.
But I think that, it's so amazing. I think that one thing that I love, outside of everything that you said, is the fact that, we get to we wanted to have you on the podcast because I saw you through Erica's stuff and the things that you were doing. And, we just don't pick anyone, you want to make sure there's an alignment. And I feel like one of the things that you mentioned, and you didn't say exactly this way, but it's something that I say all the time, is each one teach one, right? So like if I learn and I give, which is to her point, she didn't understand the message. It's not that Polkis is trying to look at me. It's that look at me. Look at my humble soul. Look at what I've done. You can too. Each one teach one, and we grow and we build together. So like Jamie said, I am in awe of you. I'm in awe of my business partner. I tell her that every day. Mindset and words matter. So sometimes even when we're talking and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait till I get a nanny. But you know what? No, it's on its way. Sylvia, and then I call her name, and then I pretend because let me tell you, it's about when we have these conversations to ourselves, and the worst thing you can do is the conversations you have alone. It's not even what you say to other people; it's what you tell yourself, and the psycho babble that we go through all on our own because of the circumstances and for lack of a better word, the injection that we've been given, right? But now as adults, we can choose differently.
We have the power to choose where our life is going in our future generations. And this is why I'm so passionate about this. And I was so excited when you invited me to talk in this podcast. And this is why I'm like putting things out there, to teach women to do it. So if you're interested, you can go to the Money Master class. It's a 2.5 hour class and container where I talk about money. We have slides, we have exercises in there. I'll put you to work with your journal. That is on my website, www.polkis.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Polkis, Polkiz, Polkis. And also, if you want it in Spanish, I have the YouTube channel in Spanish where I have the money series. I talk personal development, inner work. I also have the manifestation course, Manifestación Magnética en Español, si prefieres hablar en español. I'm also a life coach. So if you want a private session with me and you're ready to go to the next level, I can guide you and I can be your life coach. So I have all those resources available for you to start transforming right now.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Polkis, real quick, before I ask you the W4, why Polkis?
Why Polkis? I love that nickname. My friends started calling me like that when I was 13, and my name is Olga. So it's a very serious, robust name, strong name. So people always call me Olgis, como de cariño.
Sí.
And then from polka dots, like the little polka dots, to Olgis, she came up with Polkis. And I'm like, I love that. That's a brand that's getting trademarked. That's it.
Nice.
I love
That's
it.
wonderful.
I
Yes.
love it. I have one too. Someone a long time ago, like over 5 years, called me an ace. And she was just, every time I would do a presentation and I did a motivational speaking event or some type of leadership call, she was like, you just ace that. You're such an ace. And so then that's why my name on Instagram is Diana the Ace. And it's actually part of our logo for Women for Wealth. So it's I love that, because when you have something and it hits your heart, you have to run with it. You have to run with it.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so let's get into the W4. These are like our favorite. These are the fast 4 questions. You can answer them in 1 word to 1 sentence. Keep it very short and sweet. We want to get to know you just one more time, a little bit more. So here we go. What is your smile maker, Polkis?
My smile maker. My 1-year-old. Anything that she does, even if I'm stressed or anything, I'll just smile.
Right.
Second, of course, my husband. Well, he will be number 1. I met him first. That guy knows how to make me smile. And I love this man. He's so funny. Like, his energy is so light and motivating, and he's so patient. And lastly, my cat. My cat. Like, even if I'm stressed, that cat is right there.
I love that. I love that. All right, good. My baby is my smile maker too. And then what is your mission in life?
My mission in life is to help women understand wealth and help them know that they can get everything they want in this life. The husband, the baby, the business, the Chanel bags, the shoes, the millions in the bank, the charity organization, paying your mom's rent, anything that you want. That's my mission, is to help you get to the next level.
Woo, yeah. And you're doing it. I love it. I love it.
Right?
All right. If you had to create one law that everyone had to follow, no exceptions, what would it be?
One law: do your inner work. Start healing, start learning, and just work on yourself. Inner work.
I love that. I love that. It's one of the things that we both, Jamie and I, believe a lot in, because we all go through things. I think that people see us on social media and they just see these big smiles, these beautiful faces, the joy. We're both very bubbly and silly. I love to watch your social media. It's very welcoming and fun, right? But then you don't know that we all went through a lot of trauma. Everyone's trauma is different. Everyone is labeled in a different way, but it's what we've done with it. We've used our trauma, our heartaches, our challenges to now become our triumphs. So I love that. Absolutely. Work on yourself first, more than anything else.
Yes.
All right. And then our last question is, what do you want to tell a woman that is like struggling in this moment and just doesn't know what to do anymore?
That you have the power inside of you. You just have to tap to that divine feminine goddess that you have inside of you, because she's the one that will transform your whole life, and that is you. You have the power, you just don't know it yet. Things are going to get better. It is okay. It is okay to be down here right now, but you know the tools, you know the answers, and you know how to get out of there. Start tapping into your power.
Oh, thank you so much, Polkis. This has been amazing, incredible.
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
so much for being our
Thank you.
guest. Thank you for sharing all of that wealth and knowledge. We truly appreciate it. And as always, I like to leave my listeners with a message. And today's message is going to be representative of Women for Wealth, right? Wealth is more than just monetary or something tactile. Wealth is an embodiment. Wealth is a mindset. Wealth is your time and your consumption. So wealth isn't just monetary. It isn't just something that you can touch, and it isn't something that you can just achieve. It has to be believed, it has to be succeeded, and it has to be practiced on the daily.